Hold up. Before you go any further, look below and click the subscribe button. Welcome to Sustainable Growth with Melissa Ambers. I am your host, and we are on with Dr. Beverly Hyatt, and we're going to talk a little bit about, human resources, attracting, retaining employees, and a variety of different things within that topic. So I'm going to read you a little bit of her bio, and then we're going to jump right in and get started.
Okay.
Dr. Beverly Hyatt started her human resources career very early. She started as a receptionist, and then from receptionist, it just kind of fell in her lap. And from there, she took it on and learned everything that she had to learn on the job. And from there, she became an HR assistant. Then she landed a role as an HR specialist. And from there, she was being noticed and became a director within her organization. She also achieved her doctorate degree in organization and management in human resources management, became an adjunct professor at a number of colleges in New York. She was offered a freelance contract with the Wall Street Journal because of the things that she was doing and writing articles. She was noticed by one of the directors there. So she was asked to be a freelance and received a freelance contract with Wall Street Journal. Now she's retired. So she spent a lot of her time researching HR trends, teaching undergraduate students, and writing about how organizations can be more effective, improve retention, better engage with their employees, and become successful in change management. So this is like a topic we talk about all the time. I've even dropped some articles and a few posts talking about this as well. So I'm glad that we have her on right now so we can talk about some of these topics. So Dr. Hyatt, thank you so much for jumping in and being on the podcast today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, we talked about you, getting started early in HR. And even though it was kind of one of those accident falls, and you decide to just, take the reins and, ride it and just learn the things that you had to learn and found out that you enjoyed it. What was one of them things that happened where you was, like, you know what? I think I like this better than the direction I was going.
Well, I enjoyed making a difference in someone's life, making them happy, helping individuals achieve their aspirations in the workplace, and also assisting my clients in supervising and interactions with employees so that they in turn can have fruitful internal relationships and become more effective financially.
So with organizations today, some are, pulling everybody back in the office. Some are trying to work out, that midpoint of hybrid. And you have a handful that still, want to stay remote. What are your thoughts on that, on how organizations are retaining and attracting employees now with the various options that they have, if there are any options?
Well, there are options, although employers must be open to it. So the biggest option is having those hybrid schedules, if you will, allowing employees to work from home, having a work-life balance so that they can balance their home life with their work life. And that will help to retain your employees. The other thing is letting your employees know that you're involved in diversity, equity, and inclusiveness.
And what about the organizations that's, digging their heels in and just like, nope, I need you in office. As they would say, I need butts and seats. And that's their motto and what they're living by. So what do you say that are those organizations just not open and not willing to, budge and give that option?
Well, unfortunately, I believe that those organizations will lose employees. They will begin to look for work in other areas. People want to be happy at work. People want to bring their whole selves to work and be able to make contributions to work, have a say in what happens at work, have a say in their job responsibilities, and are able to conversate with their managers and colleagues on best practices to affect their role. So if they're not getting these opportunities, they will leave, particularly the younger generations like millennials and Generation X.
And I'm glad that you said contribution because, most organizations is you applied for a job, we hired you, we gave you an opportunity to make money.
Mhm.
So what's the complaint? And granted, yes, you do need somebody here to do whatever job you need, but at the same time, that's still a person and they are contributing their time, their mind, their life, and everything else because majority of their day is spent at your job doing what needs to be done. So you said the word contribution, and so many do not look at it as that. Is you're an employee, go do your job, and of course the dictating and all these other things happen. So using that word contribution, why don't you pick that instead of you're hired to do a job?
Well, I pick contribution because when we hire employees, Melissa, we hire employees that have a skill fit, a company fit, and a personality fit. Now, the skill fit refers to the ability of the person to be able to do the job and carry out the essential functions. The company fit is, does the individual have the values and beliefs that align with your company? And personality fit, does this person have a creative and innovative mind? And if you're open to that, then you should be open to your employees giving you their feedback on the work they do. Because look, they do your work. They do your work, they make your money. So they are the ones that best know what works and what doesn't. That's like a person that sits at a window at, let's say, Burger King or somewhere.
Mhm.
So you order your food, you order your meal, you go around, you pay, and you get your meal. But if people are not ordering certain meals, that's information they have to take back to the employer and say, okay, people are not ordering vanilla shakes, for instance, but they're ordering strawberry shakes. So now we have to feature strawberry shakes because that's the demand of the customer.
And that demand now is because of how the world, not just certain organizations, but the world is shifting and changing with technology. We have AI, we have, all these different tools, online tools, systems that are changing, and they are allowing you to automate and become more efficient. And so many are, we've always done it this way. And they prefer to hire 10 people in a department instead of just hiring 3 or 4 and
Mhm.
make the investment in the systems and retraining to make sure that they're utilizing that effectively and understand in today's world, the old system, yes, it worked, but look at the amount of money that you're really spending it with having all these extra employees. You got, just the cost of having an employee, whatever benefits you're offering, and then payroll, all of these different things that so many are not paying attention to because they're thinking, oh, well, we're saving money because, oh, we've cut back on overtime or, whatever box they want to check, but they're really not saving money. So those organizations that's not waking up and realizing the world is constantly spinning, it's not going to stop for you. And if you don't make these changes, your customer experience, prime example, what you just said about the strawberry shake, that customer experience is shifting with the world, which means if you don't shift, they're going to go to your competitor.
That's
So what are your
absolutely
thoughts
right.
about that, where, they're not looking to shift and just want to bring in, okay, I just have a room full of people to do a job that's really unnecessary.
That you're absolutely right. Employers must be able to monitor their external and internal environments so that they can keep up with market fluctuations and the economy.
Mhm.
Companies who cannot adapt and shift to the nuances of their business and how their people work and how the economy is working is going to fail.
Are you ready to become the go-to expert in your industry? Take your business and your life to new heights? I'm Jeff Hagan. I want to introduce you to the Entrepreneur Coaching Group. In the Entrepreneur Coaching Group, we're going to show you exactly how to do that. But just as important, in the Entrepreneur Coaching Group, you're going to mastermind with other like-minded high achievers that's going to help you to push yourself further, to hold you accountable, and to reach new heights. Come and check out the Entrepreneur Coaching Group at coachhagee.com/entrepreneur.
Yeah, that is so true. Um, in your career, you talked about on the job learning. I'm definitely an advocate of that, of on the job learning, get paid to learn a new skill. And now so many jobs are going to go away. We've been having self-checkout for a while, but it's growing more and more and more. And you have, some of these stores, for instance, like Sam's, where you can shop, you have the app on your phone, you can scan your own stuff, pay on your phone, and just walk out the door. You don't even have to do the self-checkout. And then I saw another um, video on social media over the weekend where there's a store, I forgot what state it's in, the shopping cart. Every time you drop something in the shopping cart, it adds it. And when you take it out, it even removes it. And once you're done, that same shopping cart, you just swipe your card and pay for your groceries.
Oh,
So, and the same thing applies with these organizations internally of, the workflow, automation, um, people that's not being retrained. I call it unlearn and relearn. So you have to be retrained on these systems and these tools. So even staff, executives, C-suite, employees that's not retraining themselves, where do you see them in the next, 2 years?
well, I gotta tell you, it's like Kurt Lewin's law. You freeze, you unfreeze, you learn, and then you freeze again. Again, you are adapting to market changes and fluctuations in the economy. Employers who fail to do that will fail. Take, for example, Walmart. Walmart is an amazing business and they keep growing and they keep getting bigger because they adapt to their market prices. When they have customers buying at certain times, they bring in the equipment that consumers want. They bring in the kind of merchandise that consumers want, as opposed to what is that company? I think it was Kmart. Kmart
Mhm.
did, Kmart did not do the same thing, and you can look in the journals. Kmart went out of business because they didn't make those fluctuations.
Yeah.
You can go into Walmart, you can buy food, you can buy toys, you can buy games, you can buy clothes, pretty much anything you want. And if
One
they
stop shop.
That's right, exactly. If they
Yeah.
don't have it this time, they'll have it the next time.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the same thing is happening with Target as well. They're making more Target super centers, where you can same thing, one-stop shop from electronics all the way down to first aid, medical, prescriptions, whatever you need, one-stop shop, and you get everything, right here in one location.
I love
Um,
that.
mhm. What are some things about HR that most employees don't know or don't realize that can happen? And the purpose of having an HR department where employees can start utilizing it more as a resource.
One of the things that people don't know is the legal way to interact with employees. It's perfect to hire someone and let that individual work. But if you have to discipline that person or change the schedule or talk to someone about their job, there's a way to do it. And also, there are laws that require you to pay them certain wages. There are laws that require you to discipline them in certain ways, as in the progressive discipline process. And even though most companies are at will, which means you can walk up to your employer and say, employer, I don't want to work for you anymore. I quit. And the employer can say, I don't want you working for me. You're fired, with or without cause, which we call at will. But
Yeah.
we know there are exclusions to that. You have to tell a person reasons why you are terminating them to avoid discrimination and liability.
And that, especially in Texas, is so important. Um,
Absolutely.
I've been in HR myself, and when you do terminate employees, the first thing, of course, everybody wanna, oh, you fired me for the wrong reason, and they want to go, to do their claim and all these other things. And that's the other place where documentation is crucial with these organizations as well. And even if it was a one-time incident, it's still documenting what happened, why it happened, and everything else that went along with it. Because when they trust me, they're going to go off and do their thing. And when those calls and certified letters start coming in, you can remember what happened and not try to, remember off the top of your head and forget some of the most important things that need to be documented.
That's
And
right.
this goes on both ends of documentation. So if
Absolutely.
there's something that's constantly happening as an employee, do your documentation, but not pettiness. So I
Yes,
think there's a difference where people, they get the pettiness confused with what is really, necessary and needed,
right,
and taking responsibility for your actions
right.
and not just wanting to point the finger the other way.
And
Um,
Melissa, I think sometimes individuals forget how crucial documentation is. You want to
yeah,
state the facts, what you saw, what you did, and what you heard, not what you feel. Your feelings aren't important in this documentation. It's just facts.
yes, yes. And being honest and realistic, because just like you're documenting, they're documenting as well. So don't create something to document because it sounds better, or you're going to make it look a certain way. Facts. It has to be factual when
Yeah,
you're doing this. Because even if they are in the wrong, you can really mess yourself up by not stating the facts because you're trying to make it bigger than what it is. So
exactly.
that is crucial, crucial, crucial.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything else that we haven't really hit on about HR that either side may need to know, employer or employees, about HR and retaining those employees?
Uh, my one recommendation is to always monitor the work environment. Monitor how your employees are doing. Walk up to your employees and say, how you doing? Do you need a little help with this job? Is everything going well? Is there
Mhm.
anything that I can help you with? You keep that kind of rapport up and personality and and relationship with your employees, I think you're on the right track.
Right. So let's jump into employee value propositions. Um, there's a lot of people that haven't heard of an EVP or really know what it is. How important is it for an organization to have one in place and to keep it updated?
Oh, employee value proposition answers the question, you come work for me and I will give you this. This attracts potential candidates
Mhm.
to your company. We are a national, we are a national company. We do not discriminate against race, creed, color, national origin. We have career pathing. We have sign-on bonuses. Your value proposition tells your employees or potential employees what you will offer them if they come to work for you. We'll give you 10 days of vacation the first year, a 5% increase after 6 months. That's a very crucial and important process that companies need to implement.
How many times have you gone store to store looking for the perfect party accessories and could never find that perfect design? So you had to settle for what you could find. Look no further. Party Elements has the perfect party decor for any occasion. From cupcake toppers, candy buffet themes, plate settings with the option of custom plates, wine glasses, custom pins, greeting cards, and so much more. Get your custom or ready-made party accessories for any occasion from Party Elements. At Party Elements, entertaining has never been so stylish. Reach out to Party Elements at partyelements.net or Etsy at Party Elements by SD. What would you be your recommendation for organization? Should that be part of the job description or part of the interview process?
In terms of developing an employee value proposition,
Or just having one available?
I think having one available is crucial. Before you develop that, you would need to speak with the leaders of the company to see what they're willing to give. And once they've decided what they're willing to give, I say go full blown and let the world know we're willing to give you these things. Come work for us. We are the best company to work for. The last company I worked for used to get judged on whether or not they're the best place to work. And they've won year after year after year, only because of their employee value proposition. We're going to do these things for you. We will consider you in every decision we make. Even if we relocate employees, we are going to consider how far you have to commute before we decide to move one office to another.
How often have you heard of organizations having one in place and it looks great online, but they really don't follow it internally?
Well, Melissa, I've heard of that, but you have to mean what you say and say what you mean. That's like having an employee survey and getting the information and then doing nothing with it.
Mhm.
If you say you're going to do it, you should follow through on it.
What would be your top 5 tips for someone that's listening to this and saying, you know what, I need to really, make sure I have this in place, or we've been having one. I don't remember the last time we looked at it, and we really need to revisit and update that. What would be some of the top 5 tips that you would give somebody in reference to an EVP?
I would look at our budget, how did we do in terms of new employees coming into the organization 3 months ago, 6 years ago, 6 months ago, a year ago? Did they stay for 3 months? Did they stay for 6 months? Did they stay for a year? And what did we do to affect that retention? And if you find there are gaps there, then that's when change needs to happen.
Okay. What advice would you give an employee that sees, an EVP and have questions about it? What would be the right approach to ask questions about it and to not really, throw it in their face, but to say, hey, based on, this, when I saw the job description online, I saw XYZ, but I went to my supervisor and they're telling me that I can't do it because I got to be here, 2 years or a year before these things will happen, and then state that in the EVP. What would be a good approach for an employee to, I guess it would be a challenge to challenge the EVP.
Yes, I would ask the employer, what are the benefits of me working for this company? Are you able to propel my career aspirations? Are you diverse and fair? Do you use fair practices across the board as it relates to human resources, promotion, performance? How is the culture? Do individuals agree? Do they share the same values? Are they able to engage each other in a comfortable way? That would be questions I would ask an employer regarding their EVP.
Okay. Now with job descriptions, we see so many, of course, everybody's hiring for something. And let's go, something simple, say a administrative assistant, which is, they have the typical duties that, an admin will do, but they're requesting a bachelor's degree, but they may not pay for a bachelor's degree. And, they want you to have these degrees and all these different certificates, but, the pay is so low. What would you say to organizations that's not changing that and willing to pay more? I mean, one, the economy, people just have to afford to live right now. And then also with that, they're just, don't want to pay more, but want you to have these degrees. Do you think that's a problem for organizations when they're doing their job descriptions like that?
Well, job descriptions are very intuitive, and it usually goes as duties as assigned. If you're requesting a degree, you're accepting a degree because the position warrants someone with a particular skill set, knowledge, and expertise. As an employer, you have to think about what is the value of that role to your company as it aligns with your company values and objectives. How is that position going to evolve over time? What are you going to do with the workforce of this position? How are you going to measure performance? All of that is important. And when you think about that, then you have to go out to the market and say, all right, people typically with 2 years experience, the base pay is this, 3 years, the base pay is this, 5 years, and so on, and make a decision based on your budget from there.
Great pointers with that. So let us know, how can people reach out to you if they're interested in connecting with you and learning more about human resources?
Well, you can reach me via email at bevyh2457@gmail.com.
Thank you so much, Miss Beverly, on jumping on and having this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Follow us on our Instagram at SavvyMagBiz and on our YouTube channel, Savvy, the Business Podcast. Thank you for joining us on Savvy, the Business Podcast. If you want to be a guest, send an email to media@savvymag.biz. That's media@savvymag.biz. Don't miss out on the opportunity to be heard by millions.